Welcome back to Chat Shit. Um, I'm with my friend Aiden. We're talking about Hawthorn this time, previewing the 2023 season and talking about what they've got heading into next year.
Well, a team that finished 16th in 2023, but towards the end of the season, they were playing some of the most attractive and best football that we saw from any team.
So fun to watch.
The intensity that we saw, the way they moved the ball through the ground, the way their young players played with a lot of freedom.
The way a certain young player played.
Certain young player. Let's just get onto it early because Finn McGuinness is quite possibly my second favourite player, or my favourite player bar the Swans players in the competition, known as the Ice Block, who they're going to deploy him on.
The things I do to have him in red and white.
Yeah, I think it's a conversation that teams have before games now. Like, how are we going to what's going to happen if Finn McGuinness
I know the word you love with Finn McGuinness.
Deploy. If Finn McGuinness gets deployed on Nick Dacos, what are we going to do? Where are we going to put him? I remember when they played against Hawthorn, he had 4 touches, two kickouts, ended up playing forward where he didn't want to play.
And Hawthorn smashed him.
Hawthorn ended up smashing them. Up against St Kilda, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets deployed on Jack Sinclair. Against Sydney, wouldn't be surprised if he gets deployed on Goulden. Honestly, I love Finn. When you're the best at your position and you're a player that isn't really full of quality, to be honest, but has almost made this role in a team his own, where there aren't. I know you like to talk about like being the best at a role in a competition, and there aren't too many roles. Like there's a key forward, there's a small forward, a midfielder, winger, all that stuff. But he's the best tagger in the game, and it's not even close.
Absolutely.
The worst part about it for the guy that he is tagging is how much he runs. I think he's got the best or the second best time trial at Hawthorn, one of the best in the competition. So it's not like you're just going to run and wait for him to get tired. He's just going to keep going.
And he's not going to look at the ball once.
He's not going to look at the ball.
They call him the Ice Block. I call him the heat-seeking missile. He's just got his eyes on one thing.
Well, I'm interested to see how you saw Hawthorn's 2023.
Yeah, I think they're a team going through... there's a difference between I think an unhealthy rebuild and a healthy rebuild. You look at a team like West Coast that's going through a pretty dire situation.
Extensive rebuild.
Whereas Hawthorn, I think it's quick, it's exciting, and there's a lot of promise very quickly for them. And we saw it. We thought last year. Some predictions had them coming 18th, I think.
Yeah.
And we saw as quick as midway through the season, they started showing signs of being a really, really solid, well-rounded team. And if they can bring that with consistency, sky's the limit for them in the next couple of years.
Well, they just looking at their trade period as we will progress to talking about 2024. They didn't get the compensation they were looking for Tyler Brockman to the Eagles. They added Premiership Pie Jack Ginnivan, who was actually a Hawthorn fan when he was younger. Triple Premiership hero at Hawthorn, Jack Gunston. Bombers speedster Maximo D'Ambrosio. And they also won the race for Marbio Troll. So I reckon they've been very active and they've definitely strengthened. I didn't quite understand bringing Jack Gunston back. I thought they were just going to pursue with the youth, but I guess when one of your legends requests a trade back to your club, it almost forces your hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, a really exciting team. I'm a huge Will Day fan, huge John Newcombe fan.
That entire midfield. Warple as well.
Warple, huge Warple fan. Lewis.
Jinx with Warple, by the way.
Mitch Lewis is going to be one of the best forwards, if not already, one of the best forwards in the competition.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that... Sicily... I had him as the 5th best player in the competition.
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't have... I know you still had him 11th.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a team stacked with talent. It's going to be
young talent.
Young talent.
And saying all these positive things, I've predicted them to come 14th this year. And I could easily be wrong. Except the thing is they could be a bit lower than that, but I don't think they'll be much higher than that, just in the stage that they are in their development. What do you think?
What I think, I said 13th, so pretty similar to you. I think they're a team that's now going to get noticed. They're a team that towards throughout 80% of last year, a team that we saw as an easy win. But I think towards the end of last season, as they started to really kick into gear when they were playing with complete freedom, I think we saw what the real Hawthorn's going to look like for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Under Mitchell.
I like that.
And I think teams are really starting to understand. Maybe they're going to start to understand, the analytics teams they have these days. They're really going to going to understand how to stop Hawthorn. So that's where I think they're going to struggle to progress past that 7-8 wins point this year.
Yeah.
But,
You know what my favourite part about Hawthorn was? I didn't hear talked about too much. They had it was talked a lot, their young players in the midfield and how well they performed, like Warpool, Newcombe and Day, and Connor Nash in the midfield, and Carl Amon outside as well. But I loved their players coming out of the back line, just as young and just as exciting, and I thought that they weren't talked about enough. Josh Weddle, I think, is a really, really underrated player. Obviously, you're a huge fan of James Sicily.
Yeah.
I think we know how strong he is one-on-one, how smart a defender he is, how tough he is, everything. The most underrated part of his game, he's one of the most elite drop punts in the league. He's incredible coming out of defense and sets up some attacks where you can just get it 80 meters down the field onto a chest. And I think they have players like that in the backline that are really precise and have a lot of flair coming out of there. So they'll be a really exciting team to watch this year.
He's got a real 2019 to 2021 Van Dijk aura about him.
James Sicily,
yeah. When he's just a guy that similar to Darcy Moore, a guy that you just want to avoid. Like if you can go around James Sicily, you can go through Hawthorn. If you can avoid James Sicily, as this guy is playing fullback and still getting 30 plus touches a game, if you can limit James Sicily's impact, you can beat Hawthorn. And being a fullback,
that's a big if.
Big if, yeah. Being a fullback, having that much influence on a game, I don't think there's another one around the competition that does what he does. So that's it. That's it for this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about Hawthorn, and we'll see you in the next one.